Thank you. I apologize for being late. Doing stormwater stuff over in Coral Creek as well, if you don't mind, just a little bit of space. So really good discussion points there. No, you do not have to connect immediately. Yes, as long as the state health department, even though it says Escambia County Health Department, it's actually a state department, as long as they don't force you to, then you can have it for as long as you want. But I want to warn you guys, take a look. That's according to Florida law today. Watch what's happening in Tallahassee. And if you're one of these people who says, well, I don't get involved in politics, well, politics is involved in you, so you should. Look at everything that we're talking about in Tallahassee right now, and it is all about water quality. Governor DeSantis has just, I mean, he is absolutely carrying the banner for water safety or water quality. The big problems that we're having, like red tide blooms, blue-green algae, all this stuff, the one thing that all of that tends to point toward that we can, in terms of things that we can solve right now today, is septic to sewer. Okay, and then stormwater systems that end up dumping into our sewer systems. Historically, stormwater and sanitary sewer weren't kept separate. They should be. So while the law today is exactly as was just said, you don't have to connect just because it's in front of your house. I will be very surprised if that's the law 5 years from now. Okay? Because throughout the rest of the state of Florida, septic to sewer conversion is a big deal. And you can be fairly certain that the government, as we can continue to try to pass laws that incentivize good behavior, it's just a matter of time until legislators say, nope, we're going to punish bad behavior. Bad behavior, okay? So everything that was said, sir, is 100% correct today. Could change as soon as session starts and going into next year. I haven't seen a bill like that for this year. I am going to generally push against any of the kind of whips of government instead of carrots of government. But you know, one commissioner that's practically in Alabama doesn't really carry a whole lot of water over in Tallahassee. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I live on North Shore Drive, and I want to sign up on day one. How big a check do I need to write? And then what's my annual fee after that, and how long?
That is everybody's question tonight, more important than everything else that anybody here says, I know. And so Joy, did we bring the slide deck? Do we know where we're at? Okay, because we're going to talk about those numbers, but please, every single one of you, remember these staff members, they don't work for me, they work for you. I'm just your token downtown, okay? Believe me, much rather stay out here at Innerarity with you guys. They work for you. Each and every single one of you needs to go and get an email from them. This is my parcel ID. This is my address. What is my MSBU going to be? Okay? We owe you that answer. And we should be able to provide you that answer with the standard government caveat of actual mileage may vary, objects in the rearview mirror maybe are closer than they are. Because there may be change orders that come in place. There are a couple of things that will still change the numbers that you could get from us, that you'll get from us tonight. Change orders that cause it to cost more. That is a possibility. I think that we've passed most of those kind of wickets where, substantial change orders are probably behind us. I'd like to think so. The county still owns on your behalf probably more than $1 million worth of real estate. Okay, all of the lots that were the property of the IIDC that came to the county in conjunction with when we received their liabilities, we were also able to lock into getting their assets as well. As we sell out those parcels, and those are still for sale, we're still selling those parcels, we're going to sell them out over time. Each time that we sell a parcel, it will decrease the overall burden, and then your MSBU gets adjusted accordingly. Okay, so those are two things, one that might adjust us upward, one that might adjust us downwards, but at the end of the day, I think that's going to be pretty much the numbers that we're able to give you tonight. So it doesn't answer your question directly, but I want him to run through those that will be able to give you your ballparks, and then each of you will be able to get those, get kind of that written statement from the county.
Ballpark is what I'm looking for right now.
Outstanding. Sir, was it?
The MSBU, does it take into all the property that we've given to ECUA as well as the property that was taken over from Denison? Because we used to own all the way to the causeway across the bay there, and the area at the end of Russell Bayou and and the property where the sewage plant that Dennison put in? Do we own?
Involve all of the property that used to belong to IIDC or Dennison and now belongs to the county. Yes, it does. One of the things that you'll remember, those that were still in this party starting back in 16 and earlier, it was going to be a zero-sum game. Every dollar that goes in will be paid for by the MSBU. Though the other side of that is any assets or value that go in should also credit to you and not to the rest of the county. Not one single parcel on your island will inure to the value of the county or anybody else except you. We are, because of the way the law works, we're just holding on to it for you. Okay?
It won't go into general fund.
It will not.
Okay, I have another question. In doing that, have you put an asset value, you say 2 million, that doesn't look like it's anywhere close to all the property, especially that space where the sewer plant was. It's just prime real estate with a view of the water and condos, all kinds of things could go in there. And also the fact when we turned that property over, we thought it was all going to be left as it was protected, and now we see lots for sale by realtors right outside the gate and all the way down the side of it.
Yeah. So each time that I've been in these meetings and we've talked about it, we took votes from this board and the homeowners to decide how we were going to, what we were going to sell and what we weren't going to sell. There has been no deviation from that to the best of my knowledge. Now, on the project page at www.myescambia.com, you can
in front of the gate before you come onto the island.
Right across from the
Yeah,
townhouses
it's
where they have those
property,
buildings.
it's
That's
property.
not
ours.
Yep. So, and that's why what I'm saying is every single square inch of land that has come to the county as a result of this deal.
Dennison,
My
when
understanding
Dennison had the property, it was given to the county in front of the gate. At the time, when we
On the
did
causeway,
that,
on the causeway.
the causeway.
Right.
At that time, the property where that sewage plant was still owned by Dennison and the Homeowners Association. Even though it's outside of the gate, it's part of the property owned by the Dennison
I don't think that's the
development.
property there.
The list of parcels that were given, that not given to the county, that we fought for and made sure we got, and yeah, I'm kind of proud of it because it took a little scrapping to do. Every parcel of land that we obtained in this deal is articulated on a spreadsheet that is on that, again, on that website. So which, this parcel or that parcel, we could spend all kinds of time talking about it. That spreadsheet is
Why
there.
would it not be?
Pardon me?
I believe that's the wasteland.
Family still owns some of that.
The wasteland.
The family can't own that property.
Like I said, every parcel that IADC owned at the time when we started down this path was given to the county, and that spreadsheet, like I said, that spreadsheet's complete, shows everything in every parcel. If you can look at that spreadsheet, you want to hit me up with an email, district2@myescambia.com. If there's another parcel of land that you would like a definitive answer about why that's not on the spreadsheet, we do that. Otherwise, if we don't, we'll end up spending all night talking about those parcels. But I will promise you that answer, and I will CC that answer onto your Facebook page. I know that there's quite a few of y'all that use that. If you guys don't, if you're not using it yet, if all neighborhoods in Escambia County communicated to each other that way, we'd be in a really great place.
I remember when we talked earlier, the state was going to provide the funding at 0.9% interest. And now in the 5-page packet, the interest rate to us is now 4% to ECUA. So what happened to the 0.9% to the 4%? Where'd that come from?
Well, you've actually been paying 0% so far. The county has fronted everything up until now, with the exception of the $1.5 million state grant. We had a $1 million grant and a $0.5 million grant that really kind of took the cost off up front. The rest of it has come from county general funds. So that is actually at a 0% interest loan from the county, but since you are, in fact, the county, it kind of seems fair. So there has not been any adjustment to that. Now, the MSBU, once we start paying any kind of an interest, that will be based on what the board passes for the MSBU. And those historically throughout the county have run between 2.9 and 4.9. And I don't know, I I haven't looked at it enough to know what I'm going to present as a
County
interest
board or
rate.
the ECUA board?
Is the county part, okay? The ECUA is responsible. Well done. The Artful Dodger. The taxation part, that's on me. That's going to be the county that's handling the finances of bringing your system up to the minimum standards for ECUA to take it over. The actual physical about where this pipe goes or that pipe goes, that's the ECUA's responsibility.
So the tax rate hasn't really been set in the 5-page package?
The interest rate has
That
not
was a
been
guess.
set. But you have to keep in mind that if we, it'd be nice to be able to come in and say, oh, it's going to be 0.1%. But then is that fair and equitable use of the people's money for everybody outside of the district or outside of Innerarity? So you have to remember that it has to be something, what we present and get passed by the board has to be something that...
Is it going to take into the value that how much taxes we pay out here?
No.
To ECUA?
No, it won't.
Huh.
No, it won't. There's it is something you have to understand about the way taxes actually work. We don't pay nearly enough taxes in this county for all the things that everybody wants. So every time that we do things, say, well, it's going to increase the total tax is going to go up. Total taxes go up every single year. You know what else goes up every single year? The cost of the government. Okay. So until you actually have 3 out of 5 commissioners who are cutting the waste downtown, the amount of increased cost of doing business is at least on par with the increased values. We have that very same argument oftentimes with beachfront property, and it just doesn't really pan out. So I know not really a great answer, but it is the answer.
You said earlier you encouraged each of us to go and find out what our MSBU cost is. Can you give us a name, email address?
Joy, who over in... you want to take that?
Sure, the name for the MSBU?
Name, email address. He said go, but go where? How do I contact them?
So what I said was we're going to give you some rough numbers, but for each parcel, because in some cases, you and your neighbor are going to have different numbers, and there'll be a reason for that, and you deserve to know that reason. So we can't discuss all of those tonight because we'll be here until tomorrow morning.
Right.
So who would he email to get a specific information about his lot?
What are the factors that would change the...
Whether or not you are, or whether you were on sewer or were on septic, whether you're...
Let's just drop the septic thing.
Well, we can't. There's no way to extract any one part of this from all the rest of it.
So
Let's go ahead and get the answer that he's looking for first.
you can contact
Give him your email
myself
address.
or, Jim Hagan, J.L. Hagan, Hagon, at myescambia.com.
JL?
Hagan, Hagon, at myescambia.com. And what that entails is the pay items, the equipment that's used for the construction is being tracked by ECUA's inspector and ECUA's own inspector, and they will know what is going into each of the different places. That's why there's 4 categories on this piece of paper here. One is for a developed lot, a lot that is currently developed, that is currently connected. So that person will get a grinder pump. One that is not developed. Right now, it will not be developed in the time frame of this project. So that will be a lower cost. They're not developed, vacant lot. Somebody's under construction. Right now, they want to live in their house at Christmas. I get that call. I've gotten that call several times. Well, their builder should contact the engineers and figure out which grinder pump, if they want to be in their house at Christmas, figure out which grinder pump meets the specifications of this low pressure, talk to ECUA or their engineer. But why should you pay the MSBU for a developed, like you've already been connected? You provided the grinder pump, right? So that is you'll have what's called the undeveloped MSBU.
So many parcels, there'll be many different sets of math, and the rules that apply to MSBUs are very, very specific. The county has this available as a tool, but as is appropriate, the legislature created constraints on how we can use it. We cannot tax you for something that you are not benefiting from. Now, I know that there's some of the folks, especially that are on septic, don't have a problem, would be able to perhaps argue to the contrary. But the reality is that your portion of the infrastructure is what you're paying for. Okay, so it would be inappropriate for somebody who already has a working system to pay the same as somebody who does not have any infrastructure at all on their lot yet. And so for that reason, they could change by lot. Rather than get into a situation of telling you a number that doesn't pan out to be true later on, that's why we're going with the vague, the ballpark numbers tonight, detailed numbers via email. So his email address that he gave, mine is district2@myescambia.com. Please CC me on all of those so that I can track. And if we start having, things start going sideways, that I'll know, before it goes too far sideways. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make sure, and I think I brought this up back with the Ken Horn folks in April, to make sure we're using the most up-to-date versions of the plats and maps, because when I was looking at mine before, we had our lot combined in 2017, and the maps we were looking at back in April did not reflect that. So I guess my concern is to make sure ECUA and the contractors are using the most recent versions.
Yeah, and I remember your story from the last time we met here was precisely, and then a couple of other people raised their hands and said, yeah, we're in the same boat. If you have not gone and confirmed that with your particular parcel, really need to do so now. If you think that you might combine parcels.
We had.
Yeah.
That was my whole point.
And so what I'm being told is, yes, Commissioner, we're using the most recent stuff now, okay? But we don't, that doesn't necessarily, if I repeat that and then it turns out that on your parcel we weren't, there's no recourse whatsoever. So the only right now is pre-course, making sure that it's squared away with you. Once the MSBU's passed, it's going to be hard. Go ahead, sorry.
ESCPA.org.
Yeah, ESCPA.org is the property appraiser site. That is the information that we are using. And when we establish the MSBU, it actually goes into law based on what is public record at that time. Sir?
I wanted to support something for you guys. After the meeting, and I waited quite a while, and it's been a while now, so I don't remember exactly who I emailed, so if you ask, I'm not going to be able to tell you. But this is for the benefit of everyone. The emails, addresses you guys gave out about the maps and to verify that they're correct and to identify whether or not you wanted your sewer on one side of the road, drive, or the other. I contacted those quite a bit after our last meeting. Within 3 days, that was a done deal. That was very expeditious. Again, I can't tell you who I talked to. It was somebody you brought here.
I wish it was like that in everything in the county, man.
I do want to say, if you're proactive and you reach out to this Gambia County.
You were happy with that?
I was.
It was ECUA.
That was
Gold star employee. So
it was good.
yeah, so guys, look, and keep in mind, so what he's saying here is just being proactive. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. You need to be proactive about your property rights with regard to this thing, okay? You have a commissioner, at least for the next couple of years, that really does view you guys got screwed by your developer. It got handed over to the government for us to solve the problem that we had nothing to do with the creation, and we don't have the mechanism, because we don't run sewer systems, we didn't have a mechanism to be able to solve it, okay? This is the worst of all kinds of things. So it's even got its own soundtrack, it's so bad. These are the days of our lives. Okay, so we, all of us at the staff level and as your commissioner, I would not want to be in this situation. But if I was, I would want people to pick up the phone and work with me and answer questions for me just as that happens. So please do that. CC me on them so that I know whether or not, and I'm able to follow up with staff. I don't know there's a problem. I don't know what I don't know. And believe me, there's plenty of fires going on in the county at any given time.
So this question was asked a while ago, but can we just read out the ballpark numbers?
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Perfect.
Okay, sure. Okay, so again, for a 10-year term, with an assumed 4% annual parcel, if you're a developed parcel, You're one of the 147 that we currently have 147. We're looking at $1,491, $1,491. 10 years, 4%. You're already a developed lot.
Per year, per year.
Per year. Yes, sir.
Per year. 10 years.
10 years, 1,400.
And what's the upfront cost?
Is it the lump sum, the one-time lump sum?
Yeah, there's supposed to be.
There is a lump sum, 1 year, $13,705.
So you're saying 4%, but that's not set in stone yet, is that correct?
No, it is not. That'll be, our accounting staff will make a determination about what the right number is.
These are estimates right now.
Is there an upfront cost?
No.
Okay.
So we're saving HOA, money by putting in grinder pumps, so they don't have to rebuild the lift pumps or put in better lift pumps.
That's not really an accurate
That's what
statement.
I'm
No.
just saying, that's what I'm getting asked, as a board member.
No, yeah, there's no basis in that. The fact is that there was a grossly insufficient sewer system that had a many years of deferred maintenance. We have to do all of that deferred maintenance up front because ECUA will not, and quite frankly should not, take into their inventory a inadequate system. We're bringing it all up to speed. The county is basically paying, so the upfront cost is being covered by the county, and then you will pay that back to the county through your MSBU over a period of time.
Over 10
So,
right now. it's
so
10.
that's the actual narrative. Any other narratives of that? Oh well, this, that, and the other. There's no basis to them.
Septic tank hooking up to this.
All right, septic tank, let's do that one. Septic tank, there's 44 parcels that are on a septic tank. It's $1,667 per year for 10 years at 4%. $1,667. A lump sum of $15,330.
That's like 50% more than we briefed last time.
So
Yes,
this is
50% more. And does the lump sum eliminate the NSBU?
Yes, you have two choices with how you pay your portion back to the county. You can either pay it all up front, stroke a check, be done with it. Or you can pay it out over a period of what's probably going to end up being a 10-year MSBU that's assessed in your tax bill.
We're still gonna have to pay up front though for,
no.
No.
The project includes the pump.
Yep.
Wasn't the admin fee gonna be reduced? I remember something back in April, if we lump summed it, we'd have a reduced cost for the admin fee.
Rebecca, a admin fee is normally 10% for an MSBU. When they established it in 2017, it was 1%. They established it at 1%.
Once all of this is installed, do you guys take care of repairing the yards, the sprinkler systems that are going to get tore up and all that crap like that? Or are we responsible for that crap too? So,
I think it'll be a good mental picture of what to expect as far as tore up yards, tore up roads, and, kind of walking.
All right, so we'll get to that, and very valid question. We'll get to that. We've got 4 different categories. We've spoken to 2 of them.
Right.
So,
and that's the difference. So you may have missed the meeting, maybe, I don't know. There was a meeting in February that only had 3 categories, and at the meeting, it was discussed to create the undeveloped lot category. If they don't have anything developed there, they're not getting a grinder pump, they're not getting a full service. So we created the undeveloped lot. There's 176 of them. It's $786 per year for 10 years at 4%.
If you're not connected?
They're gonna be left where they can,
They'll be left with a connection.
There will be a point that when they do decide to build, and they'll come in, they'll have to, at that time, bring in their own grinder pump, but they'll have a place to connect. They won't have to cut the road or run under the road, there'll be a place.
And is there a tap fee associated with that?
As well.
A tap
Is
fee,
there a tap fee at that time?
well, we're gonna be within that 1 year deal.
Tap fee, impact fee,
Impact fee.
it's the same, to me, it's the same word.
so in the first 12 months, no. But if you were to come and tap
Five years
in,
from now, there's an
then-
undeveloped lot. 5 years from now, someone builds and they want to now tie into this new 5-year-old low pressure system. Are they then also stroking a check to ECUA to tie into that system?
They're gonna have to come and set up an account.
Yes.
Set up a
Okay.
new, and that would be part of getting paying their impact fee. at that
So
time.
what's the estimated impact fee?
I think it's
$1,000. Right now.
We're sure there's a lot of different numbers here.
We've been telling you this is going to be complex. It is complex for a reason. It'd be inappropriate to charge somebody who doesn't have a house for somebody the same amount as for somebody that does. So we've worked through all of this, and yes, it is very complex. That's 3 of the different categories. We have a 4th category, and then we'll get to the other
The
details.
last one is the Russell Bayou parcels, 132. Annual assessment per parcel is $977 per year. The lump sum was $8,984.
Okay. All right, so that covers the 4 different categories. We're going to run through any question. Let's cover any questions about that, and then we'll come to really what to expect as the contractor closes out their work on your island and restores it to, hopefully, gets you restored to a place where you can actually get your roads repaired, because I know you've been waiting. So any questions on those MSBU amounts? I'm going to start in the back and come forward.
I'm probably going to be a 5th scenario. My house is under construction right now. I doubt you'll have a main in front of my house. Got a price from my contractor to install a grinder. I'm not going to be assessed the grinder part of.
well, it's in your cost of doing the house, right?
Yeah,
So
they're ultimately going to be tying into the gravity main because you're not going to have it.
temporarily, you're going to have to go to the gravity main, and then as our contractor comes through, he's going to have to find your line and connect it into the low pressure.
Okay, so your situation, if you're outside of those 4, the best answer is let's sit down and talk about it. Okay, let's find out, let's get your contractor, let's get ECUA and the county together, and let's make sure that you don't end up with an MSBU that is for services that you have already paid for. Okay, so if you're outside of those 4, please, that you need to sit down one-on-one.
We've had a lot of people call that's under construction now, and yeah, their cost of the grinder pump is included by you guys. It's not factored in the MSBU, so that's that lower tier. So we've got a lot of people.
Well, mine's not in the house right now. I've got a change order if I want to do it with them to put the grinder in. So I'm trying to weigh what y'all would charge versus that.
If it's less than $5,000, do it.
Yeah, and
Also, I want to make sure the specification y'all have for the grinder is the grinder I'm getting. I know you said have to be able to get with ECUA, but I'd like to,
Yeah.
I was in construction and I want to know what's going in.
Okay, so your option is to go gravity into the system that's going to get phased out. So we're going to have to go back in and tear your yard up. So I know these guys are trying to prevent having to go back up in a yard. So part of the thing is we're telling the builders, hey, make sure you get people on grinders now. If we have to, and we've had several people contact us and want to see the spec of the ones that are being provided, we can do that.
Yeah.
Ed, right here, is our designer, and he could probably speak to some different pump options. But
It's a whole lot easier to install the grinder pump on a new house than it is to put one on a house that's already there. I'll tell you that. A whole lot easier. Power connection simpler, the sewer connections are all simpler, everything's simpler.
Okay.
I did like it under our law.
All right. So we're going to try to stay focused on questions regarding those MSBU amounts for those 4 categories. There was another question over in the back. All the way in the back.
Just take a note. So on the 3rd option, how many numbers was that on lot in the 3rd option?
Repeat everything for option 3.
Vacant lot.
The vacant lot, did I not say that?
Undeveloped.
Undeveloped, 176.
Okay. LSU, I'm coming to you soon.
Just want to clarify, I actually have a question, but I want to clarify one thing. Those of us that are on septic that are not connected were undeveloped, correct?
Yes.
Classified as undeveloped.
That's fine. Undeveloped.
Those who have functioning septic systems now.
Connect. So we're on the undeveloped cost for the MSBU.
Yes.
Yes, because you have not, you haven't, yeah, now when you do shift over, of course, the expense of making that shift is on you. But until then, you are an undeveloped for the purpose of the MSBU.
The last thing regarding the MSBU, you talked about selling the lots and ultimately offsetting some more of the MSBU cost. If we pay upfront our cost for the MSBU, how does that get adjusted in the?
It'll be adjusted by the pencil whippers, and then it would be a credit to your tax bill. So, pardon me? Yes. What is the amount for undeveloped if they pay up front?
7,227.
7,227. Brooke?
Not necessarily numbers, but can you give us an update on the county lot sales? Do you know how many sold, we've made, how much money we've made?
I don't have the immediate numbers. Did you pull the, do you know, Joy, if their most recent? So we had a fairly decent rash. We were selling, and again, at the instruction of this group, okay, the method for selling these, we're not fire selling them. Okay, we are not selling them in bulk groups that we can sell to a developer for a low price, because we did not want to accelerate the build out of your island. At the time when we met last time, there were 17 permits underway on the island at the time. So this group decided, no, we want to sell them slowly, and we don't want to use these lots to essentially depreciate our values by setting comps that are then going to be challenging for us in the future. That's the instruction I got from you. As a result of that, we put them on about every quarter. We'll put them up for auction. We usually sell 2 or 3 per auction. And then we raise the price of the remaining ones by about 3% and put them back on auction. The idea there is constantly trying to push the market value up instead of pushing it down. Now, if your board decides that you would like to take a different direction with regard to that, and you'd like to just get it done with so you know what the number is or whatever, then you have to tell me. Okay? I am operating under the instructions given to me by this group the last time that we were here, and will continue to operate at that until told otherwise by your homeowners association.
But essentially, we have 10 years to sell them.
You do. You have 10 years to sell them, and it's fairly noteworthy watching kind of what happened. The final build out of Innerarity Island looks like. How much is enough and how much is too much before it changes the quality of place that is the island. The reality of this is that once this little headache is out of the way, you live in the best place in the county. There's nothing else like it. Bottom line. So, LSU, my bad. Sorry to get...
We'll start in December, January. So give me my options. End of the year, first next year, I'm going to start building my house. What are my options? What's my best option?
I think we're going to tell you to have your builder plan to include it in the construction of the house. Our guys don't have to get involved. You're not getting a grinder from the county and having to pay a higher...
Buy my own grinder, make sure it's up to your specs.
And most of these residential grinders are pretty much the same. I mean, you've got centrifugal, you got positive displacement. There's different things, but generally they're all going to pump the same type of flow against the same, so they're very similar. The county took a lot of time to really research this, and they've got, a good low horsepower, very efficient pump. So, I mean, they're good ones to mimic. We've suggested people to go out and kind of get the same, since we've got a group that's going to be out there maintaining them, but it's certainly y'all's choice.
Are they positive displacement?
That's what has been already purchased. But I think that's your warranty. You've got to maintain them.
You a boater? Macerator pumps, and so very rarely does somebody actually have a preference